Hi, Laura.
So good to have you here. This
Thank
is a
you.
Dog's Pace podcast, video style. Usually we're just audio. We're also going to put the audio, the full interview, on Spotify. This interview is to celebrate Tanya Vishniakova becoming a director of the Slow Dog Movement. Really, really excited to have you on board.
Yeah, woohoo. And thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited.
Well, it's a really good opportunity for everyone, our followers and members, and people that don't know about us yet and will soon, hopefully, because our film is coming out, people to get to know you better. They know Penny Clayton, hopefully, and our past directors, Jonas and Santos and Namitha. Kath Hardington is one of our directors, and she kind of takes a behind the scenes role. So you might not see her very much, but definitely her dog pictures. So let's get started.
Yeah, let's get
you're
it
in
started.
you're outside of Moscow, and
Yeah, I was born in Siberia
wow.
by Lake Baikal, the deepest lake. Right. So, and now, yeah, I've been living in the suburbs of Moscow for about 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the first thing that I should say about myself is that I consider myself to be a super happy person because I have found this. I don't want to call it a job, even. So, this thing that I'm very passionate about, something that I'm so interested that every day when I wake up, I think about all the dogs and all the people I communicate with. I think about the how we can help the dog world and the human world become a very balanced and harmonious combination
Mm-hmm.
that both could understand and respect each other. So and accept each other.
Mm-hmm.
But as for dogs, they do accept us. They have no problem with it.
That's so true.
this
That's
is
so true.
something that this is something that we should learn. And yeah, it's I think relationship with dogs is mm, a lot about acceptance, actually,
Mm-hmm.
about treasuring moments, just being together, not necessarily doing something like some training or things like that, just being together, just observing the world together, just watching how like you both react to like the same thing but in a different way, or maybe on the contrary, how you react, like how similar you are, and you
Mm-hmm.
can enjoy the similarity, and you can observe how different you are. And this is also so interesting, and I feel really blessed about um, having lived for 12 years with Afusa, my first dog. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel really honored that one November day she came into my life, and I feel grateful, and I will always be. And she taught me so many things, and I'm convinced that each dog that comes to your life can teach you something. Some
Mm-hmm.
dogs can teach you to be calmer. Some dogs can teach you how to be more patient, how to accept things, how to be a friend,
Mm-hmm.
how not only to speak the same language, but to learn to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, when we first met was in 2020, and then you were in St. Petersburg. And
Hmm.
well, we bonded over the slow dog movement for sure. And you
Yeah.
used to send photos of you and Afusia going to the bakery, and we would talk about your clients, and you were still studying then. And we even did a project together for the slow dog movement that's on hold right now, but that hopefully one day we can share that with everyone. And
We
you're
will.
originally a school teacher.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I love working with people. I love being around people. I love sharing knowledge. So I think this is kind of my vocation maybe, but I really love it. I know some dog trainers say that they love dogs more than people,
Mm,
but I can say that I love both dogs and people. And I think being a dog trainer kind of implies that you love people. Because if you just love dogs, you cannot help these dogs get a better life. Because
mm,
there's always a person between
yeah.
you as a professional,
Hmm.
yeah, and the dog you want to help.
Hmm. And
So
actually, just for I'm being a bit pedantic, but just for clarification, Tanya is not a dog trainer.
yeah, yeah,
She
I
doesn't
don't do
dogs.
tricks and things like that. It's just a very simple kind of name for the profession. Yeah, I
Yeah.
work with behavior, relationships. I help dogs become more self-confident, become more curious. I help people to get to know their dogs better, to just enjoy being together. So that's all about it. That's all about the relationship, actually. Mutual respect, acceptance, understanding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and learning. I mean, often when I go and help people, uh, it's really holistic, right? So you're looking at everything that's going on in the dog's and human
Every
life,
tiny detail. Yeah, even
everything.
the surface
Food,
in the house
yeah,
matters.
the surface of the floor, the environment, the
Exactly.
the amount of exercise, the type of exercise, the food, the sleep, the relationship, the everything, the health of the dog, even the mobility of the dog, just everything. So it's like being a detective in a way.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
feel
It's a detective work indeed.
like I'm just wondering. There's a light behind your head, and it is sort of shining. You do look quite heavenly right now. And
It is a
when you were
halo.
talking, it was quite dreamy. You know, when you were talking about how you feel, and it's really beautiful. Sometimes, though, it's obscuring. I think it's
Okay, okay,
bright.
okay. I'll try to. Okay, hold on. I need to
Sorry,
do
guys.
something about my halo.
It's never going to come off, in my opinion. But
All right. Does it look better now?
it's a bit better. That's good. I'm sure that when this finally is recorded and loaded, it's going to be better quality than as it is presently. That often happens because of the Wi-Fi and it's
Mm,
trying to find your face and things.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, so as we were saying, so when I first met you, uh, I think you just finished, or were you still going into schools and teaching kids about dogs with a charity, wasn't it? With a rescue
Yeah,
organization.
yeah. I used to work for one rescue organization which helped pit bull terriers, Staffordshire terriers, English bull terriers, so those muscular dog breeds. Yeah, I used to work like there for many years. So I helped. Mm, I helped those dogs to feel better in their new families.
Mhm,
I was helping families to understand their dogs, to accept that the dog at the moment is going through some huge changes in
mhm,
her life. And sometimes some things are gonna be easy, some things are gonna be difficult, some things will take some time. So it's all about patience as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, I used to go to like ordinary schools and kindergartens, and I used to give a lot of interesting lessons about how kids should communicate with dogs. So if they want to befriend a dog, what they should do,
mhm,
and if they have their own dog, so what they can do with the dog, how they should approach the dog, how they should touch the dog and when, and how to understand when the dog is willing to be touched,
mhm,
or how to understand when the dog just wants to be alone.
mhm. Very
And
important.
as you know, I have recently moved to a new place. And today I found out that there is a nice library
Oh,
here.
wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So good.
and there are quite a lot of events in the library. So I think after our conversation, I shall just write them a message, and I
Hmm.
will offer something. So maybe I will organize some event for for families with dogs, or maybe something for children.
Or the slow dog movement
Uh,
talk.
slow dog movement is always included.
And pretty soon you'll be able to show the film, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be amazing.
And
Everyone
tell
should
us
watch the movie.
tell us about Vulpi, your new dog.
Yeah, I have my own ambassador of slow dog movement now.
You do.
She's a basset hound, and her name is Whoopi. And she's adorable, laid back, very, very curious, always inspecting everything with her huge nose. And she's so funny. And I actually, before she came into my life, I thought that I kind of mastered the slow dog movement style. But now she shows me that that I still have to, have to grow, have to get even slower, and I'm very grateful to her for that. And I love our cozy and slow mornings when, usually when dogs wake up, they're kind of full of energy and they're like, yeah, let's go for a walk, let's go for a walk. And Whoopi is the opposite. So I usually wake, yeah, I already told this, but I will tell it again. So now I don't have to set my alarm clock because I have it like daily.
At
And
what
it's
time? At what time was it this morning? You can tell everyone. We've already had a
Yeah,
conversation.
this morning it was at 5 a.m. So my alarm clock yawned at 5 a.m. So yeah, I probably I should explain what I mean. So almost every morning I wake up because I hear Whoopi yawn really loudly. So it's like that. Oh, and by the way, have you seen how funny Basset Hound's tongues are?
No.
No, so it's like it's a very big head, right?
Hmm.
But a very thin muzzle and a very thin tongue.
Oh.
Yeah, my husband and I call her a snake tongue because it's so funny. I mean, she's already quite. I mean, she's just 6 months old, but she's already quite big. But
She
her
is.
tongue, but her tongue is so thin, and it is so funny because I'm used to a dog having quite a wide tongue, a big
Yeah.
one, like a spade.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But she has a very funny, long and thin one.
Wow.
Yeah, that all often makes me smile. So I hear her yawn. I wake up and I ask her how she's doing and what she wants to do, what she's up to, and she may start whistling after that. It's another funny sound that she makes. It's not whining, it's not nagging. It's some really cute sound that she makes, like something like that. So, and it's just so it is so cute. It's illegally cute. It always brings tears into my eyes because it's so funny and cute. And then I sometimes have to talk her into having a walk. But I know she wants to pee. And for example, this morning she woke up so early because I offered her some water from the shower
Hmm.
in the evening and she likes it. And I thought, okay. And she drank probably too much. And this is why her bladder was her alarm clock this
Yeah.
morning. Yeah, and it's real pleasure, to watch her inspect the world.
Hmm.
And it is amazing how much she sniffs.
Yes, well, I
And
mean, I've posted one, I think, video of her, or maybe two on Slow Dog Movement because you don't have Facebook.
Mhm.
And I have a whole bunch more saved on my computer. And after this, I will put more on because she is so measured,
Yeah.
for a puppy to be like that. And I've only known other Bassets because my lovely, lovely landlords in Scarborough, when I had Snuffle for those 4 short months before I was flooded, they have 3 Bassets and they're all rescues. And they came into Snuffle, and I thought because they're so big and their paws are so big, and you think they're just going to knock everything over. But no, so careful. Really, really measured too. One of them was actually quite young, Frank. They're middle dog. Now they even have another pup, younger Basset. Probably adolescent. I can't remember his name actually. I've only met him once. And anyway, yeah, no. So like Volpe, when you see her move, she's looking at everything, like just taking everything in with her nose and her all her senses, and she's so slow, but then she does the cute, she does that sort of ha 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 when she's thinking something's funny, and does a little run and a jump. And so that makes it even funnier because she's so big, and her, their proportions are strange. They're not, you wouldn't think that this dog would actually evolve and continue as a dog. It's very short legs, really long body. But yeah, no, very graceful, in fact.
Yeah. And she's so wise. She's
Mm.
very, very, very wise for a puppy and very balanced.
Yeah, well, look at who she has as a guardian. So, she's very lucky. I mean, I believe that they're all individuals and they come to us just like human children with their own personnel, their thing. They can be wise. They can be an old soul dog, you know.
Yeah, this
Maybe
is
she,
what she is.
yeah. Yeah, and it's really
100%.
good where you live now because you're right by the forest, right?
Yeah. So I just live. So we can, if we leave our garden, there is the forest like right there. So we almost live inside the forest, almost. And it's such a pleasure to see her in the forest when
Mm,
she feels so. It's like where she belongs to, really. So she feels there. She feels so confident,
mm,
and well, she's a hunting dog,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but she always checks up with me. Like
Yeah.
um, she never goes away too far.
Mm-hmm.
So she kind of appreciates the company.
Well, I've
And
noticed in your videos, because I've watched them a few times, and I've noticed, I think I even mentioned to you that I thought that she was very confident and also was checking in. Like I saw her look over her shoulder. I never really thought she would run away. She doesn't seem, she's very, very calm. And
hmm
you have a really good relationship already with her. It's wonderful. I mean, Afusia also, right? I mean, I saw the videos as well when you used to go up your lane and you'd meet other dogs, just dogs that were out. It seems like in Russia there's more kind of village dogs that are off leash, that are just wandering around, that are part of the neighborhood. Is that true?
well, yeah, but that depends if we're talking about some big cities, for example.
No, no.
So yeah, it's well, you will hardly ever
Yeah.
see like a lot of streeties. I mean, if we talk about Moscow and St. Petersburg. However, if we talk about the about other Russian cities, so people in Russia say that there is Moscow and there is Russia.
Oh,
Like,
no,
okay,
I
and
meant
some
more
yeah.
countryside places, like where you lived last time at your
hmm
parents' house. No, not last time, but at your parents' house. And then now, I don't know, maybe it was just at your parents' house. There was that dog that used to just show up and
Yeah,
play with
yeah. There
Afusia.
was that fantastic dog. We called him Lenny. And he was just fantastic, just fantastic. It was so great to observe his body language, how polite, how delicate he was. And he did charm Afusa. I mean, she let him come into our house,
Wow.
jump on my bed and stay there. And she
Wow.
was completely fine with it. So it means that he gained her trust.
Wow. Well,
And
that
it's
is also a thing. I sorry, I was thinking about that when you were talking about Vulpi. Is like the whole. Obviously, when the most important things for dogs is to feel safe, and part of that is trust. But with Vulpi, she's obviously trusting you where you're taking her and feeling safe because, some puppies might be worried about the forest and the big trees or worried about a new environment, and you just moved to a new place and you had her only a short while in the old place, so you're going to start being like me pretty soon. No, I'm sure you're going to stay there longer. But yeah, it's really, really impressive how, because of you and because of who she is and what she gets from you guys, that she's feeling so secure when you're doing exploring. It's really good reflection of who you are. So you're such a wonderful slow dog movement director to be able to show this to the world, and also because your passion is helping people, you bring a lot to this role, really, because you know you come from a teaching background, from loving dogs already, from being just a lovely person too, and caring, and then your passion for education, because we were talking just before we went live about um, your brochure, the one about crates, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning it, but I've
yeah,
seen that. I've seen it. Such a great thing to be able to have educational brochures like that, and what are some other projects that you've done? I mean, you've started something, haven't you? Do you mind talking?
yeah, yes. So next Monday, I'm launching an online puppy course. It will be in Russian. I will be for like puppies of different breeds. So, and I will be teaching their humans how to be really great dog parents. So, what responsibility truly means.
Mhm.
I will tell them about the necessity of having realistic expectations from the puppy,
Mhm.
because puppies, they have such a, I mean, if we take, for example, a 3-month-old puppy, so this living being has been on this planet for just 3 months. How can you expect a lot from him, right? So we should be someone the puppy can rely on, someone that yeah, the puppy can trust, someone the puppy can have a lot of fun with, right?
Mhm.
We can be role models,
Mhm.
for example, staying calm in some uneasy situations, right? And being there for the puppy,
Mhm.
because dogs, yeah, if we think about um, the life of pet dogs compared, for example, with the life of street dogs, so
Mhm.
we can say that our pet dogs, they get so much from us, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
regular food, a soft bed, like we play with them, we have fun with them, but they don't have that much choice in their life.
True.
So, and this is something that I consider very, very, very important for people to realize, that by
Mhm.
giving choice, by giving choices, we help dogs like really enjoy this life. Yeah, even if we give them some great raw food, for example,
Mhm.
different
Mhm.
like types of meat and veggies and bones and stuff like that, um, we should offer them something else probably to try. So this is what I do once a week. For example, I take tiny pieces of different food that
Mhm.
is safe for Whoopi,
Yes.
and I put them on a big plate. So it can be,
Mhm.
for example, just really, really a tiny little bit, uh, a quarter of a teaspoon of a sour cream, for example. It can be
Mhm.
some cheese. It can be a piece of an apple, a piece of a banana. It can be
Mhm.
some salmon, for example. And so I
Mhm.
put these different pieces of food on a big plate, and I just put it on the floor, and I
Smorgasbord.
huh?
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. And so, and I see what Whoopi chooses. I see how she does that. And the first two times, she was like, oh wow, is this all for me? Oh wow. But then she became more kind of, she became calmer, and she would sniff all the things before she would taste them. And this
Right.
is so nice to see in a puppy.
Mm. I think it's nice for dogs also to have the choice to have some cooked food as well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because
Yeah, I mean, it
I
can
mean,
be, yeah, I
yeah,
get
no, no, I'm not criticizing you at all. No, I was just thinking about what we do in our house and what Penny was suggesting just recently in her firework, preparing dogs for fireworks show. She said the night of the fireworks, it's nice to have some lovely food cooking that you can also share with protein, like maybe beef
Oh,
stew or something,
nice.
because it's really nice to smell it for us and dogs and to share a meal. I don't want to give away her course because she was charging for that, but I think that one tip is quite nice,
Yeah.
because it's a shared meal, social eating. Dogs are social creatures, but also when you cook food, it has more flavor.
Exactly.
And, dogs are scavengers. So, of course, if you gave them cooked meat, they're going to eat it. And at our house, when Brett makes really beautiful soups, and he puts homemade sour cream and homemade sauerkraut in,
Oh.
because we're trying to repair our guts. And so also dogs, because I talked to Nick Thompson, one of the raw pet medics, and they use the same protocol from the GAPS diet, which is by Dr. Natasha. I can't remember her last name actually, and I could put it in the podcast link. I will make a note, and I'll try to stop saying so much. GAPS diet link, because it heals the gut. And so our dogs now know when we have soup, they get a little ramekin, a little dish of some cool down soup with some sauerkraut and some sour cream in, and they
Oh,
love
this
it
is so
because they can
cool.
smell it, right? They get fed first before we have our bowl.
This is
It's really
fair.
it's really, really beautiful. It's lovely. And we do share food all the time. They do get raw food and, different raw foods. It's commercially prepared. We used to make it. We don't now, but we may in the future. So they get that. But, and two of them don't like raw bones.
Mm-hmm.
But Peppy will be introduced to maybe some raw bones soon. There's a little bit of resource guarding, so we have to
Oh, I
worry about that.
see. Mm-hmm.
But they do get tastes of things, so, and I always share my apples and pears with them
Yeah,
because
same with
they come and
me.
ask for them. Izzy especially loves apples, and Ted loves pears. Peppy's like, you can keep your fruit, lady, I just want the meat. And because in England the fridges are so low, Peppy comes and sticks his whole head in the fridge. Like, so you might not want to come and eat at our house if you're worried about germs, because not that I'm not worried about these things, but some people that are funny, because he used to just try to lick everything in the fridge because he was found on the street in Hungary, and he didn't have a very good beginning, and so he hasn't learned that's not a thing that any of us do really. But he's so curious, so we don't stop him. He's just wanting to know what's in there. Would stop him from pulling something out of the fridge and eating it right there, but because it might not be good for him. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
nice to share, not a whole meal, but some of the
Yeah,
food,
I
because
agree. I agree. I also share some spaghetti or some dumplings or some fish that I'm cooking.
ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Russian dumplings, yum. We used to live in a Russian neighborhood. It was actually in San Francisco. It was Russian, Chinese and Jewish Orthodox people lived in that area. So there was lots of Orthodox synagogues, and there was lots of Russian delis,
Mm-hmm.
and in that part of San Francisco, it was always foggy and more cold than in other parts. It was called the Richmond District, and there's a street in San Francisco that the Spanish called Divisadero, which means the dividing line. And
Mm-hmm.
on the old maps where we lived was uninhabitable because there was no sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
so, so there was no Spanish living there. They live in the Mission District, which is very sunny a lot of the time. But where we lived, it was cheaper because the fog would come across the gate from Marin County and go across the Golden Gate, and you could just see it coming in. And my husband
Mm.
Brett loved the fog. But I remember being so cold in July in San Francisco, wearing a wool hat and a big wool coat,
In
and going
July.
to get some coffee because the fog came in. It was freezing. So it was interesting that the Russians were there. And the food was really good for that because the food is really heavy that we could get in the Russian delis, like really heavy, kind of greasy things, like yummy, really yummy. And we loved it. But we couldn't eat it all the time because we just, felt. I'm sure that's not how you eat, but the traditional food that they sold there was really for people
Yes,
that are
yeah,
in
it
the
is. It
cold,
is heavy. It is heavy. I agree. Some
It's kind of
dishes
funny.
are.
So, so you're doing the puppy class, but you've also been involved with bigger projects, haven't
Yes,
you?
yes. The project is called Dog Space. I'm doing this together with my colleague, Lena, and in September, right? Yeah, in September we began. So this is we started our course for um, um, actually for everybody. It is useful for everybody, for dog guardians, for people who work with dogs. I mean, different professions like veterinarians, groomers, people who train dogs. They might benefit from the knowledge that we provide. So, and we are very, very proud of our course because we put a lot of knowledge for sure, but also a lot of love for both people and dogs,
Hmm.
and everything is so logical and the structure is perfect. So we really loved the project, and we're happy that now we have such an education to offer in Russia, because
Hmm.
our project is unique and we are very proud.
Well, that's fantastic. I wish it was also in English because there's definitely room for competition in the world for ethical dog education, like really hugely. So, as we should probably with this interview, send you the video and you can make subtitles and post it in your channels in Russia because you don't have this Facebook
Yeah, I
there.
will be honored to do that.
That would be fantastic because then we can spread the word of the slow dog movement, and we can also tell people about, well, you can tell people about what you're doing in the context of all of it. And so I think it would be really valuable.
Yeah.
Um, so now that you have Volpe, have you taken a break from going into Moscow for your regular clients, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I've taken a little break because uh, a puppy is always about, spending a lot of time together and learning about this new personality, what she wants, what her preferences are, what her daily routines are. I mean, I look at her and she tells everything she wants. I mean, she lets me know when she wants to go outside to pee, for example. And when she started doing that, she was just 4.5 months old. So
Wow.
she's breaking all stereotypes about bassets for now. Well, and yeah, and she's amazing, and she always lets me know when she's hungry. And I'm always responsive. I mean, I never ignore if she asks for it. But guess what? Knowing that she will always get a yes,
Hmm.
she asks for food maybe 3 times a day only.
Amazing.
never, she doesn't do it more often, and that is really amazing because she knows that I will never refuse, that I will never say, okay, no, forget about it, you have just eaten. Never, never. So I will always be grateful to serve her like a second breakfast or third lunch. but she doesn't do it. And
Yeah.
it's also, I think it's the power of choice as well. And when I think any animal, okay, but we to talk about dogs, okay. I think when dogs have um this choice and that they know that they are heard, they get kind of very relaxed about everything, about some resources like food, for example. So they're not obsessed about it anymore. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, food, 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 food. No, so she knows that she can get it anytime she wants,
Mm-hmm.
but she kind of regulates herself. Yeah, can I say so?
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense, though. I mean, because I don't know, just speaking for myself, if I'm somewhere and I know that I can't get food or I have no control over it, it's like the same if you know you're going somewhere where you can't pee. You automatically have to pee. And for me, if I know I'm going somewhere where like if I'm staying at someone's house and I don't know them really, really well, it's the same analogy I think that Penny made about rescue dogs. When they come to this new house, they don't know the rules. They don't know where the food is, and they're really, really scared. I feel like that when I go to some people's house to stay that I don't know well, because I can't just open their fridge when I want to. I have to rely on them to feed me.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually makes me nervous and makes my blood sugar worse,
Mm-hmm.
because of the cortisol. Seriously, I do get scared because I've been hungry once in my life. I know I don't look hungry, but when I worked in London, I didn't get paid for a month, and I got ketosis because I could only eat like a scone a day, and I
Oh.
actually got I had ketosis. So everyone wants to do keto now, but if you're really, really hungry, it's not a nice thing to feel like that.
Mm.
And not many people in the developed world, shall we say, I mean, there's lots of people that are hungry, but people that that we know, that we talk to every day, not that many people are hungry. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I might get some flack for that statement, but in my peer group and my family, I don't know many people that have been hungry. And of course, there are people, and kids come to school hungry in the UK, and I'm sure in Canada as well. But that is a very nervous making feeling. And so for you to always respond positively to Volpe, it makes her feel safe. Then she can relax. Dogs aren't opportunists. We anthropomorphize dogs. We make them seem like they have human qualities. I think dogs
Mm-hmm.
do everything for a reason, like Turid used to say that. And so I think it's really true. And if we attend to their needs and we listen to them, yes, there's learned behavior, there's learned barking and things, but that's a whole other reason that happens. That's also unmet needs, I think, and not watching their body language. So there's habits that happen that are repetitive. So I think that if they learn from when they're young that they will be safe and be looked after, then they relax and they have their natural behaviors.
Yeah, and everything, I mean, goes so well without any training. It's just
Exactly.
it's just about the relationships and about understanding and um understanding and trying to understand, because we cannot understand everything, because yeah, we know the dog's body language, for example, but we still are different species and we cannot have like 100% understanding, but we can do our best to try to understand,
Mm-hmm.
because our kind of the way we perceive the world, like it's different,
Definitely.
but we may try to understand and it will make things change.
I think that dogs, like children, know that we're striving to do our best. They obviously feel that from us. They feel into us. I mean, not only scientifically proven that our physiology is linked, but I think that they can feel, and I'm getting a bit touchy feely here, but I really believe that dogs know that when we're trying and we're trying to help them. I mean, I've experienced it, and now Brett is telling me that when our new dog Peppy is feeling like he can't, uh, control his emotions, when he can't regulate his emotions, he looks to Brett for help.
Oh.
It's so poor boy, because we're still having issues with him, and yeah, so I'm sure it'll get better. And I mentioned when I talked to Evelina last night, I did a podcast with her. I'm just stacking the podcasts. Uh, anyway, this is a bit of a different one, but I was saying that, yeah, I mean, Brett is probably going to do a podcast with me because he's learned so much about himself being alone with the dogs, and how his emotions really change the situation, and his reactions change the situation. I mean, talking about a puppy that's come to your house, who's come from a good background, and you don't think there's any sort of genetic issues or any stress coming to you, versus a dog that was found in a rubbish bin in Hungary
Hmm.
and was adopted by a family that left him in a basement for up to 12 hours for a year. That's a completely different situation.
Yeah,
And
and that sounds heartbreaking. Just
it is
heartbreaking.
heartbreaking. And he probably has some heat in his brain, and, PTSD and that kind of thing. He's afraid of the dark. He's afraid of a torch or a flashlight flashing. That makes perfect sense. If he was kept in a basement, they might have just turned the light on, bang, or come down with a torch. So he's very scared of these things. And now Brett realizes that almost all his behavior, his redirections onto Ted, is because of fear and not being able to process his emotions. So yeah, it's so the puppy situation with Volpe is like, just like, oh, lovely. I'm not saying there's not going to be any issues or whatever, and I'm hoping there isn't, but you know, the learning curve for yourself is not as steep as someone that
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
us with Peppy.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could do a podcast where we do with Peppy and talking about Peppy, and we could just do a live or something, because that would be
Nice.
really interesting to get another viewpoint. I've roped Penny into the situation, and but not done anything like that. In fairness to Penny, we've just been talking about it, and what to do. And some dogs just need more time and more space and that kind of thing. So I'm sure you've got some good stories to tell about because you were going into Moscow. This is about you, not about me. I'm happy, but you were going into Moscow before from your parents' house quite a lot, weren't you? Like a few times a
Yeah,
week.
yeah, and it took me about 5 or 6 hours a day to go there and back. But it's
Wow.
all, it's all for the love of dogs and their people. Yeah, but I work a lot online now,
Yeah.
and I work with people from different cities and different countries.
Wow. I didn't know you did different countries. How do you find that? Because I tried doing that during lockdown, and I didn't like it at all. I felt like I was missing the true connection with people, and their connection with their dogs, being able to see and feel that. But maybe you
Mm.
can tell me how you've made it work for yourself.
Well, I think first, it's very important to know what questions to ask.
Mm,
It helps a lot to get to know the person and the dog. And sometimes I ask people to send me several videos.
yeah.
So I ask them to be my eyes because
Mm-hmm.
I cannot like be there and I cannot observe all situations. Carefully film how their dog eats. And then
Right.
I can see the way they treat their dog, the way they feed the dog. I can
Mm-hmm.
observe the dog's posture. I can observe how fast the dog eats the food, whether he feels relaxed or stressed, and so on. So it gives a lot of information actually. I
Mm,
sometimes ask them to film just a small part of their walk. like maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but
Hmm.
I specifically ask them not to try to get into some trouble to make some, action
Yeah,
movies for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand.
So yeah, I tell
Not to
them,
put the, you're not putting you're not setting the dog up for failure.
yeah, yeah, because there is no need to do that. I mean, I have
No.
seen it million times,
Hmm.
and why stress the dog again? Like what for?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not worth
Exactly.
it. It's not worth it. I also ask them to video the enriched environment, for example. So we
Oh, right.
discuss how we can do this right in their house. So I help them choose some objects they can use, and this is something that also helps me get to know them better.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, and the consultation itself, when we talk, I often let the person uh, like tell me everything, and I'm not being
Hmm.
judgmental, so they feel safe. So it's a safe space. They can tell me
Hmm.
everything. If they have beaten their dog, if they have done like terrible things, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay, but they can
Yeah, yeah,
tell
yeah,
me. But they can tell me
yeah.
this, and I won't blame them. I won't criticize them and so on, because um, they are already here. They have come to
Mhm.
seek some help and advice,
Yeah.
and it means they're not satisfied, they're not happy about it, and they want some change. And I've
Hmm.
met
Hmm.
really hundreds of people with hundreds of dogs, and I haven't seen a person who would be who would be feeling happy by jerking the leash,
Hmm.
or using commands every now and then, or keeping the dog under some strict control. No one is happy about it.
No.
This is not why people get dogs.
No.
It's because some people just made them feel scared by saying, if you don't do that, you will
Hmm.
end up having that, for example.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well, and a lot of
And
things.
then they feel like if they don't do it, they're going to lose all control
Yeah.
over everything. Whereas the opposite is true, really. But they don't know it yet. They don't know it yet. That's really cool. I love the way you've talked about how you do the online things, because I always felt, maybe it's my age, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I'm not really, it's kind of funny, ironic that a lot of the things that we do on the slow dog movement have to be because of the world. I can't fly around everywhere talking to people in
Hmm.
person, but
Yeah.
I don't really like, I use technology, but I don't really like it, and I think the videos, I've had people send me videos, but maybe it was just the, I didn't set it up, probably I hadn't thought it through, it was like lockdown, let's just do this. But
Hmm.
only getting a short walk with a poorly done video and meeting people in person where they're not controlling the camera properly, couldn't actually see the dog. It's much better, like you say, to get the videos in advance. I mean, I prefer in person all the time,
Yeah,
but that
same
is
with
limited,
me.
especially if you live in a place like you do, in rural, you're going to have to travel or do the online. So it's really
Hmm.
good. I love how you really thought about what to look for, that's very telling. It's very telling.
Yeah, so
It's
and
really cool.
yeah, and sometimes people live in such uh small towns that there is like zero chance for them to find a good specialist, an ethical one, who would be
Yeah,
really, interested in getting to know their dog rather than,
yeah.
you know, working with some problem behavior, you
Hmm.
know. So the dog isn't a problem.
No, no. No, they're probably more likely to have, the school hall or the church hall with the regimented, on leash with collar, let's heal now, that kind of
Yeah,
dog.
like in prison, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
no,
not
you're
what
right.
we want.
I can see it's really valuable. I probably should get my head around it, I think.
You should. You definitely
I
should.
have all these teachers, in the slow dog movement. I'm so lucky to have all these younger teachers and older ones as well. But yeah, I have my colleagues and have all the people that I know because of the slow dog movement. So really, it's amazing community to be part of because we can all learn from each other. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else we could talk about. I think we've, you know, covered a lot. I don't know. Maybe you could just share with us, if you don't mind. We've started with Volpe waking up in the morning and her yawn and her little whistle. And what does the day look like for her? Maybe, I mean, you did tell me what the walk was like today that you had with her. Maybe you could just share like a typical day, just so people could get an idea of how you live and how the slow dog movement, really is your life in the way that you are.
Okay, okay. So I should start with saying that like we sleep in the same room, and it's up to Whoopi to decide where she wants to sleep. So she has a lot of choice in this. So she can sleep right on in our bed, and we have a special, rather high mattress for her. So if she wants to go down, she doesn't hurt her legs.
Nice.
So she can sleep on this mattress because it's really huge. I mean, it's maybe 1 meter long and 1 meter wide, and about like 40 centimeters high. So it's really quite soft and big. Also, sometimes she prefers just to sleep on the floor,
Hmm.
uh, next to the door. She just loves it. She loves like sleeping in one corner.
Hmm.
I don't know why. Well, she can sleep on me, but it happens really seldom, and I wish it happened more often because uh, she's so cozy and soft, and she smells fantastic. I love the way she smells. Some people say that baskets have a specific smell that you need to get used to, but I absolutely adore the way she smells. So she smells of croissants or something like that. So it's a
Yes,
very,
yes, that's a healthy dog smell, I think. Yeah.
very yummy, very, very yummy smell. So we sleep together, and usually she wakes up first, and then I hear this yawn alarm clock. So I open my eyes, and I feel really happy knowing that I don't have to run to walk. So we can do everything slowly. So I get up, I stretch out a little bit, I put on my clothes, and I invite her to go outside. So usually I really invite her. So I ask her, like, would you mind having a nice walk? And she usually agrees, and we can start our walk in the garden. So we have quite a big garden. So she has a lot of different surfaces there, and a lot of trees and plants, and a lot of small buildings, and there is always something to smell there. So
Mhm.
in the morning we can walk just in our yard, or we can do it the way we did it today, because she really insisted on leaving the yard, on having a walk outside the yard. And I hoped that we would walk for 5 or 10 minutes and then go back to bed. I really hoped so, because it was freezing. It was freezing this morning, and
Mhm.
but she decided to take a tour around the district. So we ended up having a 40 or maybe 50-minute walk, but it wasn't we didn't like walk a lot. I mean, it was maybe 300 meters, but it took her nearly an hour to
Wow.
examine every centimeter, like every plant, every tiny stone, every dried frog there.
Inspector Vulpi.
Yeah, she's inspector. This is what I call her. And it was 5 a.m. and it is very safe in our area at this time. So there are no cars, nobody. So it's silent. It's silent, a
Nice.
little bit dark, but feels fine actually. And
You have snow?
today, yeah, today it wasn't snowing, and all snow has melted, sadly,
Oh, okay.
but we hope to get more snow soon.
imagine a Russian hoping, someone from Siberia hoping the snow will come.
I love
I like
snow.
snow too.
I love
Me
I
too.
love snow. I'm
I just thought if it was snowy, it might have been brighter this morning.
Yeah, yeah. And it was so nice to see um you know how interested she was in this world. And and she's a puppy. She's curious. She sometimes can be very active, but it usually lasts for a couple of seconds when she just hopes. Yeah, exactly. So she can be completely calm, and then the next moment she starts hoping, hoping.
Hopping,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
and she makes this Santa Claus sounds like ho ho ho. And we call her Santa sometimes because it's like that when she jumps. She's very funny. I'll try to make a video next time when she starts doing it.
yeah.
It's hilarious. And she's
Oh,
so,
it's so funny.
yeah, and she's so loud when she jumps because she's heavy. And when we walk in the forest, for example, I can hear her running like but
That's so funny.
yeah, but she has these moments of being very active for like really a couple of seconds, and then she slows down and she turns into Inspector Whoopi again and examines
Does she,
everything.
sorry, do you eat? Does she eat before you go out?
No, we first have a morning walk, and after that, when we go back home, she has
Okay.
breakfast. But today, for example, after coming back home, she didn't ask for breakfast. She just went back to sleep, and she
Wow.
slept for about an hour and a half, and then she woke up, and then she was, okay, it looks like it's time to have breakfast. And she asked me for it. I gave her some food, and then
Right.
we had a nap together.
This is perfect. I like it.
Yeah, and then we cuddled a little bit, and then we had um about 3 or 4 quite short walks
Hmm.
as well. So we actually she has quite a lot of walks throughout the day because she shows me when she wants to pee or poo. So, and
Hmm.
this is why I always let her out and go out myself. So to make sure that she's safe, everything is okay.
Yes, of course. Of course.
Yeah,
Of
and I'm
course.
so
It
proud.
makes sense.
Hmm?
Sorry,
I,
sorry.
I was
Go ahead.
I was saying that I'm so proud of her. I mean, she's such a little puppy, but
Mm,
she lets me know when she wants to go pee and poo. This is so I appreciate it so much. And even if it happens like at 5 a.m.
hmm.
when her bladder is full and she just yawns or whistles, I feel so happy that okay, this little cozy creature like trusts me, knows that I'm there for her. She
Hmm.
knows that she can ask me for something and I will help her get it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is so great that she knows that I understand her.
Hmm. There's no chance then for the frustration to start building because a lot of dogs, I mean, and sometimes it's no fault of the person, to be honest with you, because they live inside a house where they can't just go, or a flat where they can't just go immediately outside
I
the
know.
house. You know, the dogs
I
get
know.
frustrated because they have to wait for the person to get all their things and their shoes on and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
so the frustration is building. It's quite unfortunate, you know, in some cases, but in your case, it's wonderful. I'm wondering, so uh, when so does that mean that there's no regular meal times? You just wait for her to ask you, or
Oh,
do you sometimes just put food down anyway?
well, actually, yeah, it's just she has her own like food schedule, and I know when it happens. So I will tell you one thing. Maybe you will think that I'm a little bit paranoid. So, uh,
I don't think so.
the moment I got her. But actually, I'm not paranoid. I'm very curious. So the moment I got her, I started writing down every time she pees and poos. So
Good for you.
I have her pee and poo diary, and I've been keeping it since July,
Wow.
since the 30th of July. Yeah, I have it.
30th of
Yeah,
July.
I have it.
30.
I have it in my phone. So
That's my birthday.
it's the birthday of my pee diary.
You're a scientist. You're a
Yes,
scientist. It's
and I
fabulous.
also I also kind of evaluate her poo. So
Hmm.
from 1 star to 5 stars.
5 stars is good.
5 stars means amazing. So you can take it to poo
Wow.
museum. Modern dog
You're
poo
strange.
exhibition.
Tanya. I actually feel jealous now that I haven't done that myself.
And
But I think keeping the diary is fantastic. I've been asking Brett to do that because, when you say, "Oh, this happened a couple times," or "It's not so often now,"
I know
it's useless information.
exactly,
It's
exactly.
like, so what does that mean?
Yeah, this
It
is
means something different to
yeah, this
everyone.
is why I'm keeping this diary, because if I notice something that I find like a little bit suspicious, or I want to observe it more, um like I can always look into my diary and, for example, see, so she's been having 3 star poop for the last, okay, let's say 4 days. So it's not that okay. I need to do something about it. And also, having this diary, it helps me understand how to arrange some of my things that I'm doing, my consultations sometimes, or
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
calls with my friends, for example. So I know that, for example, quite soon she's gonna wake up because
Yeah,
she hasn't peed in wow, in 5 hours.
that's a long
That's a
time.
long time, right?
Well, we're almost finished here, Tanya. So it's like we could finish right now. According to the diary, a line should be drawn. That's really interesting because when I did my studies with Turid, she also got us to keep a pee diary. Yeah, that's really important information. And when we had a rescue dog, and so he was peeing a lot, and but for puppy health or for any dog's health, the diary is really
Yeah,
good. So but when you were telling me that, it made me think. Well, when I had my baby, my human baby, I didn't go, okay, now you're going to have some boob, like that. I didn't. I didn't like
yeah,
So it's exactly the same thing because if you're in tune with the dog, they're asking you, could we have some food now? And just like a baby, I didn't make him be breastfed at certain intervals. He would show me the signs, which were, oh, I've forgotten the name of it. Rooting. It's called rooting in English. When they're rooting with their mouths, they're doing this mouth thing, the babies,
oh,
and they will also start pulling. They'll start
oh,
touching your breast or trying to get to your breast. Well, newborn babies, when they're put on the mother after being born immediately, they will crawl up to the breast
what?
like a marsupial animal, like a kangaroo baby. Well, they will crawl. They know where to go, so it's so natural. And so, yeah, as a human mom, I breastfed my son for a long time. We won't go there in this conversation. For comfort, for safety, for it's very connecting. It's attachment. So now he's a very confident young man, and when he was a baby, he could go and meet lots of different people. He could be with other people and not be scared because he was super attached, like in a good way, like well attached, healthily attached. But with puppies, this is what you're setting up now. You're paying attention to what her rhythm is, and you're attending to her needs when she asks you. So she's very secure and attached. It's perfect for confidence, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I'm looking at this diary, and I can see that she,
Time to go,
yeah, kind of. So, and well, you will cut it.
maybe. I don't know how to cut the bad parts out of these yet because I'm using new software, so
Fine.
it
Okay.
doesn't matter.
Okay. So I'm looking at the diary, and I see that she asks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner almost at the same time every day.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's quite,
Aren't you glad we had this conversation?
so she's quite, she's quite quite, I don't know. Well, I don't really like the word predictable, but
Mhm.
in a way. So I know, and I already know her routine when she asks for
Mhm.
food.
Well, she's going to, if you have a similar rhythm, the metabolism is going to, unless there's something wrong, like maybe she has or not wrong, but something different. Say if she went on a huge walk, she might be hungrier earlier and that could affect everything. So her life will affect her metabolism, but if she has a very similar rhythm, then it will be not predictable, but it will be regular. I mean, just like all of us, right? We can change things as humans, and things change when you travel or you're visiting people or you're ill or whatever, you're stressed. Our metabolism acts different. Same with dogs.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to notice all of that, and you'll be able to give us another cool podcast about what you've noticed about Volpe as she's grown. You could do like after a year, or you could do, it would be so interesting if you did a presentation. It's
Okay.
so scientific and
Okay.
wonderful.
I'll be happy to share. Yeah. I love
Oh,
the scientific approach because you can see what happened, how often happened, and it can help you find out some reasons why it happened.
hmm. It's not just instinct or guesswork. I mean, observations are really important and also scientific, and keeping a diary. It doesn't have to be super scientific. I mean, you can keep a diary in the any way you want, but more information is better as far as I'm concerned. So good work.
Thank
You're a
you.
bit blurry now. I hope you're not going to end up being blurry.
Yeah, I
I'd
think
like to
it's
say goodbye to you in a
yeah.
non-blurry state. Right now,
Yeah,
you're a bit of a mushed strawberry right now, you are.
I don't mind. Okay, Laura.
You don't mind being mushed. Well, just put some whipping cream on you and you'll be breakfast.
Thank you.
Okay, Tanya, I
Thank you
really
for
appreciate
inviting
the
me.
time that you've given. My pleasure. And I hope everyone enjoys this video version of a Dog's Pace podcast. And this is a special edition, actually. We'll still have our regular monthly podcast. So for this month, it was Evelina, and we'll have another one next month. But this is a special edition. And welcome to the Slow Dog Movement as a director, Tanya. We're really happy
Yay!
to have you. So if you don't mind staying on the line just for a minute, heart back to you. Ooh, how'd you do that? You're magic. That's fantastic. What a lovely way to close the show. Just stay on the line for a moment, and thanks everyone for being with us tonight.
Sure, bye.